Madison Square Garden is supposed to be the toughest building in basketball, a place that swallows visiting stars whole. Victor Wembanyama just walked in, dropped 32 on the Knicks, won the game, and walked out to a chorus of boos. He didn't flinch. He's not just beating New York on their floor, he's becoming the one thing every great road player eventually becomes in this building, the villain. And here's why that's actually the highest compliment they can pay him. Here's the case. First, the stage. Why Madison Square Garden is the building that's supposed to break visitors. Then, the dominance. What he's actually doing to the Knicks on their own court. Then, the moment that turned the crowd against him, and the quote from his own teammate that poured gas on it. And finally, why being the villain here means he's already won the mental battle. Let's lay it out. This is Game is Culture. If you like the story behind the stat line, not just the box score, hit subscribe. We're chasing 1,000. It's free and it genuinely helps. Now the stage. The stage. Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden isn't just an arena, it's a pressure cooker. The Knicks are chasing their first championship since 1973, and that crowd has been waiting half a century to exhale. It is loud, it is hostile, and it is supposed to rattle anyone wearing the wrong jersey. Stars are meant to shrink in that building. Wembenyama is doing the opposite. Start with the scoreboard. In Game 3, on that floor, the Spurs didn't just win. They snapped a 13-game winning streak the Knicks had carried into the series. New York had been nearly unbeatable, and Wembenyama helped end the run in front of their own crowd. Nothing quiets a hungry building like watching the villain take the game from you on your own court. Exhibit A. He's dominating their floor. Here's what he did in that building in Game 3. 32 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 blocks on 11 of 18 shooting. That's a complete two-way masterpiece. Scoring, playmaking, and protecting the rim all at once, on the road. Villains don't tiptoe into your house. They redecorate it. That's exactly what this line looks like. And he isn't fading as the lights get brighter. He's getting better. His true shooting, the cleanest measure of efficiency, has climbed every single game of this series. 49% in Game 1, 59% in Game 2, then 73% in Game 3, in their building. The hostile crowd isn't shrinking him. It's the backdrop for his best game of the series. Sit with that for a second. The series moves to the most hostile road environment in basketball, and that's where he posts his most efficient game. Most young players have it backwards, comfortable at home, shaky on the road. Wembenyama just played his best basketball in the building that's designed to make him play his worst. That's not normal. That's a player who's stopped hearing the noise. And think about the message that sends to the Knicks. You can pack 20,000 people in to scream at him, and he answers with the most efficient game of the entire series. There's no crowd loud enough to fix that problem for New York. Exhibit B, the moment. Then came the moment that officially turned the crowd against him. During Game 3, Wembenyama made contact with Jalen Brunson's head, the Knicks captain and the heartbeat of that fan base. The Garden erupted. In a building already desperate to hate the man beating them, that was the spark. From that instant, every touch he got was drowned in boos. Now the fair part. The league looked at it. The NBA reviewed the play and chose not to upgrade it to a flagrant foul. So this wasn't ruled a cheap shot. It was ruled basketball. But that distinction rarely matters to a home crowd. To them, the villain had just touched their captain, and the verdict from the league did nothing to cool the building down. And this is the exact recipe a sports villain is made from. Take a dominant performance, add one controversial moment against the home team's favorites, and pour it into the most passionate building in the league. That's the formula. Wembenyama didn't ask for the role. He earned it by being too good, on their floor, on the wrong night for New York. Exhibit C, no apologies.
And then his own teammate poured gas on the fire. Asked about the physicality after the game, De'Aaron Fox didn't back down an inch. Quote, "If you get hit, you hit back. That's life." That is not the language of a team that's intimidated by the Garden. That's the language of a team that has decided it owns the building, boos and all. And Fox actually had a point worth hearing. He pointed out that Wembenyama gets grabbed and held on basically every screen, every roll, every box out. A 7'4" player drawing that much contact is going to give some back. Fox even said he doesn't think Wemby is trying to be a villain at all, that it's just the reality of how physical it gets when you're that big and that involved on every possession. But intentions don't matter to a crowd. The role gets assigned whether you want it or not. And once the Garden decides you're the bad guy, there's nothing you can say to change their mind. You just have to keep scoring. And give New York credit, they aren't backing down either. Their own center, Karl Anthony Towns, said the quiet part out loud about what has to change. Quote, "We have to try to be the first ones to throw the first punch." That's a team that knows it's been the second hardest hitter in this series and is promising to flip it. The villain has woken up the building, and the building is promising to swing back. Why villain means he's already won. Here's the real point, and it ties back to everything we tracked about his comfort in this series. You cannot be a villain in a building until you're comfortable enough to dominate it. A nervous rookie doesn't get booed, he gets ignored. The Garden only turns on you when you're good enough to take the game from them. So the boos aren't an insult, they're a receipt. They're proof he's conquered the one floor that was supposed to break him. Let's keep it fair though. Villain is a role the crowd hands out, not a character flaw. The league said no flagrant. His teammate says he's not trying to be the bad guy. And this is physical, competitive finals basketball on both sides. And the Knicks will use every boo as fuel. A hostile crowd with a captain to defend is dangerous. So this story isn't over. It's just getting its bad guy. So you tell me, is Wembenyama actually the villain of Madison Square Garden? Or is he just the best player on the floor and the crowd needs someone to blame? Because here's the truth about this building. They only boo the ones they're scared of. Drop your take below. And if you want more of the story behind the series, subscribe and join the family.